First, I'm just going to do a regular mask. Now, there's a couple things to know about masking. It used to be in Illustrator that any items you wanted to put into a mask had to be a single group. And in this case, I've got the items from the left side of my truck down here that I want to mask into something. And they are currently ungrouped. Now I'm just going to use a simple circle. And now, having drawn that, if I select all of what I want to mask and the mask itself and go to Object, Clipping Mask, and Make, they go in. Illustrator has become quite intuitive that way. And I believe it has something to do with the simple timing of it. You know, you bring up a group of objects like that, or a cluster. They're not necessarily grouped. And then you draw a shape over top, and it almost knows that you want to use that as a mask. I'm just going to undo that. Now, that's okay. It typically works fine, but best practice still really is to make a group of the items you want to mask. So selecting all of them, you know, on this side of the truck, I have all these items, including the web address. So I'm going to group them, select them all, go to Object and Group. And then when I put my mask over top of them and select both, so I'm selected on one, I'll hold Shift down and Shift select the other. Or if you can do so without disturbing any other graphics, you can click and drag across both. And that way I can mask them in. And so again, it's kind of best practice to group all your items before masking. But like I said, Illustrator has become quite intuitive to know you just drew this shape and you selected everything and made a mask. It all depends. It depends on what I would say order of steps you take in order to take advantage of that aspect of Illustrator, that sort of intuition. However, again, I always just group whatever I want masked. Typically, we should be grouping it anyway so that everything stays together consistently and we don't accidentally move some items. So it's just something to keep an eye on. But yeah, usually it will mask a set of items without them being formally grouped. So I'm just going to get rid of this. We're going to go to our truck shape and I'm going to show you something. So here is the side of our truck. I will show you in a bit how we actually mask in the document. But it's this. I just copy and pasted that, and I have my graphics there as well. So this isn't all lined up or anything. I just want to show you something about these shapes. Now I'm going to select both my group and what I'm masking into. I'll go up again, Object, Clipping Mask, and Make. And why aren't they showing up? I know they're there if I do Command Y. There they are. They actually did mask in, but they aren't showing. So what happens sometimes with these templates, with some, if you get graphics from Vecteezy and so on, sometimes they come with artwork that can be a little tricky. There can be things that are masked into other things. There can be backgrounds that have been turned into a vector just in the saving process and exporting and so on. So it's something to watch for, but I'll show you what's happening on this one. So I'm going to undo that. Now the first thing, if I take my direct select and I drag on the yellow, you'll see that it's actually it's an item that has been masked into this perimeter. I'm going to do Command Y to see what I see. I'm almost doing a little bit of forensics on this artwork because I didn't create it and it was a template. So I want to see what's going on, and specifically I want to know why it's not masking. So I'm going to do Command Y. And now you can see a couple things here. The object that was masked in is proper. It has its full perimeter. And this is a broken line on that shape. So the full perimeter isn't on that item. So that appears to be something that would have happened during the templating creation. Not necessarily someone doing poor artwork, just in various methods of saving. Something can go wrong. We don't know. We simply don't know, but we know that we have to fix this in order for it to work for us. So you're going to run into this a bit with the template. So I'm going to undo, actually I'll go back Command Y, then I'll undo what I moved there. And again, using my direct select. Remember, the direct select allows you to select specific parts of an overall shape or graphic. I'm going to click right on the edge of this. Now you'll see when you do it yourselves, you'll see that when I click on the line, it only goes to there. It doesn't go across the top. When I click inside, the line is going across the top and all the way around, that little red indication line. So that means that the one inside that has the color is proper. The one on the outside is incomplete. It doesn't connect to these two ends. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to do delete. Actually, I'm going to do that again because I want to make sure I get the right portion. So there we go. Delete and delete. And now I've removed that external part. If I do Command Y again, now I have a complete shape. So you will run into that. You're going to find that in a couple of these. It looks like this one, this is the one we're using, so it's of course a problem. So best to guess that this one is too. So sometimes it does take that. It takes a little bit of forensics to fix that up. So now that I fixed it, I should be able to grab my group and the shape, do Command 7 or clipping mask and make, and there we go. That's good. Okay, so yeah, you'll run into that. You'll find that very often with artwork that you download from Vecteezy and so on, and it's just something to know that when it happens, it's nothing you're doing wrong. It's just something that you have to figure out. Sometimes these things can be like a little puzzle. Okay, so we know how to mask. We've got our graphics placed. We're on another layer. So what I need to do is get this item to the layer I want to work on. It has to be in front of my art. Now the thing is, I have this yellow on the truck on the actual template layer. It's not on the layer with my graphics, but I need to use it for a mask. Now what if I want to do this blue? What if part of my color palette is doing a blue truck, not a yellow truck? Hopefully you guys won't all be handing in yellow trucks because you didn't know how to change this, right? So I'm going to make this another color. I'm just going to double click on that. And I'm going to make it blue, but you'll have your own color template. You'll know specifically what color to make it. So there we go. And I can do the same to the rest. So I'll click on the others. I'm still using my direct select because it's selecting just that item from the overall group. So I'll do direct select with that. I can even hold my shift key down and do the others at the same time if I want. And remember, I did sort of a random picking of that color, so I don't want to try and pick one close. I'm going to use my eyedropper again. So the eyedropper is what we can sample the attributes of another item with. And with those selected, using my direct select, I'll click on this blue and it will apply it to those others. Okay, so we're one step there. We've changed the color. That color came from our color palette. And now we need to get this shape onto our artwork layer. I'm going to even name this. Up in the layers, I'm going to double click there and I'm going to name that artwork. Okay, so what we do in that case, I'm going to select, and we'll see. It might be ungrouped there. Yep, perfect. So it's ungrouped. I'm going to select that. And I'm going to do copy, so Command C, or you can go to your edit menu. And I'm going to do what's called paste in front, which is Command F. Now you didn't see it, but when I do paste in front, it pasted itself right on top. So it made a copy of itself right on top. So that was Command C, then Command F. Command V would just put it in the center of your screen. I did Command F, so it lands directly on top of itself. Now I'm going to select this copy that I made. It's selected, and you'll see in your layers palette, this little square here, you can drag that onto the layer you want this graphic to go to. So we've done a little bit of that in InDesign as well. So I'll drag that little dot, and I'm going to put it on my artwork layer. Now it's on that layer, on the same layer as my graphic. So you'll want to do that with each one. I'll do it with this one too. So Command C, Command F, made that copy. So I'll drag that copy in my layers palette to the layer I want it on. And this one I don't need to mask for my design. You might have to for yours, but you would do the same thing. But I am going to need one here. So I'll do that again. Command C, Command F, and then drag that onto my artwork layer. Okay, so we're almost there.